Hi everyone, and welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hon.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. On today's show, I'm going to tell you about the ghost of the Calumet Opera House. Calumet is a village in the northern area of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, originally named Red Jacket after a Native American chief of the Seneca tribe. The village was first settled in 1864. Calumet was once the center of Michigan's copper mining industry. Red Jacket, as it was formerly called, grew due to the copper mines in the area. It was incorporated as a town in 1867. The copper mines were particularly rich. The Boston-based Calumet and Hecla Mining Company produced more than half of the United States copper from 1871 through 1880. In addition to copper mining and smelting, the region also supported the dairy industry and truck farming. Many immigrants from Poland and other countries settled there in the late 19th century. As the community grew, the town hall was built in 1886, and in 1898, with a huge bankroll in the town's treasury, it was decided that an opera house was needed to serve the community. The village at the time had a population of roughly around 4,000 citizens, and more than 30,000 lived within a stone's throw away. Just to show you some perspective of Calumet's glory days, at the turn of the century, the village's population in 2025 is just 681.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah, it is.
With the industry, leaving the area, many people moved away.
So this place was booming back in the day. On March 20th, 1900, the theater opened its doors with a touring Broadway production of Reginald de Koven's The Highwaymen. In the following years, the theater's marquee was adorned with the names of American theater A-listers such as Lillian Russell, John Philip Sousa, Sarah Bernhardt, Douglas Fairbanks Sr., Lon Chaney Sr., Jason Robart Sr., James O'Neill, William S. Hart, Frank Morgan, Wallace and Noah Beery, and Madame Helena Modjeska. Helen Modjeska was a Polish-American actress who specialized in Shakespearean and tragic roles. She was said to be the greatest Polish actress of all time, and despite her poor command of the English language, she was extremely successful in English and American theaters. Sadly, she passed away at the young age of 68 in 1909 from Bright's disease, which is an inflammation of the kidneys affecting the ability to filter waste and access water. According to legend, Madame Helena's ghost still dwells in the opera house. The first reported appearance of her spirit was in 1958. Actress Adise Lane was performing on stage when she forgot her lines. She gazed up to the balcony where she saw the ghost of Madame Helena. She began mouthing the actress's lines to her. With Madame Helena's help, Adise was able to finish the play with standing ovations. Since that day, employees and patrons have felt cold spots in some areas, heard music being played from no known source, and saw the form of Madame Helena Modjeska's ghost just roaming the opera house. However, Helena's spirit is not the only one said to have been witnessed in the old theater. Apparently, there was a man who was murdered in the opera house in 1903. Allegedly, some have reported seeing his ghost on occasion. Others say they have heard his spirit screaming in the dead of night, perhaps reliving the events that took place on that fateful evening so many years ago. Also, the theater is haunted by a little girl named Elanda Rowe, who died mysteriously in the opera house. There have been reports of hearing the young girl's screams. There is also the resident ghost of Mr. Bach, whose name is stenciled on hallways in the theater. Apparently, Mr. Bach has the habit of knocking books off their shelves. Wow, that's rude.
That is pretty rude. Maybe he's got something against literacy.
Maybe. But wait, there's more. Have you heard of the historic Italian Hall disaster of 1913? Maybe you haven't. Maybe you have. And you listened to our show about it on Malice in the Mittens Season 4, Episode 9. Well, I say, if you haven't listened to it, you better go back and check it out and learn a thing or two about a thing or two.
That's right. There's a lot of info in that story.
Yeah, there is. So here's the quick gist of the story for those who don't know, but I know you're going to go listen, so we'll leave it at that. The Calumet and Hecla Mining Company, also called C&H, was the single largest copper mining company in Copper Country of the Northwest Michigan's Kinawa Peninsula. Many of the miners were immigrants, and on July 23, 1913, the copper miners went on strike, requesting a conference with the mining management to adjust wages, hours, and working conditions. The request for the conference was denied, and the strike continued. It would not end until April of 1914, one of the longest strikes in copper mining history. On Christmas Eve in 1913, many of the striking miners and their families gathered for a holiday party. The party was held on the second floor of Calumet's Italian Hall. The incident began when over 400 people were in attendance and someone came through the front door and yelled, "Fire!" The attendees panicked and rushed for the stairs, creating a stampede of frightened people trying to escape for their lives from the fire. But here's the thing. There was no fire. 73 people were killed. 59 of those victims were children. The deceased were transported to a block away to the Calumet Opera House, which was used as a makeshift morgue. Since the tragedy, many claim to have felt the presence of those spirits of the men, women, and children that died that day. Some say the screams, especially of the children, can be heard at times within the Calumet Opera House. Wow. I don't think I'd like the thought of children screaming.
No, I don't think I would either. And I wanted to point something out. There seems to be a lot of screaming being heard from the children, from the guy that was murdered, from the little girl. So, who's to say whose screams it is? Could be any of them, really.
Well, why is Helena not screaming?
You know, I thought about that myself too, and I think maybe spirits are both attracted to the place where they suffered great pain or where they experienced great love. Madame Majeska, she obviously loved this opera house. She didn't die there, but her ghost resides there. And she ended up being a helpful ghost. That's the kind of ghost I want to come across.
Me too. I don't want someone scaring the hell out of me.
Right.
Help a sister.
Help a sister out.
Help a sister out. Well, I also find this, when you told me you were doing the story and you brought up Calumet, of course, the first thing I thought of was the Italian Hall disaster.
Exactly. And when I started doing the research and found out about it, I immediately made the connection, and I was like, I wonder if the timelines match up. And then as I delved deeper into the story, I was like, and there it is. There's the connection.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Round robin. Isn't that fun?
It is fun. And we can kind of round robin back to our last round robin episode where we talked about spirits. And I think Nina brought it up. It's a thing.
And why are they always old?
And why are they always old? Why don't we have more modern ghosts sticking around?
Yeah, maybe some of these ghosts tooling around up there should hop in and tell these older ghosts to get out.
Yeah.
It's our turn.
You know what? It's time to retire.
Give us a minute. We got some new tricks.
We got some new tricks. New ghostly tricks up our sleeves.
And what's the deal with the dude knocking the books off the shelf?
Right. And if that's his only trick, I mean, he's obviously has an issue with books. Maybe he was an author.
Maybe he was illiterate.
All these books are junk.
He's mad as hell. I can't read. Ugh.
Now, I've never been on the peninsula, the Kinawa Peninsula. I don't think I've ever been there. I've been up further in Marquette in the UP, but I don't think I've ever been on the peninsula before.
The furthest I've ever been in the UP is St. Ignace. I've been across the bridge in St. Ignace. That's as far north as I've gone.
Oh, okay. You haven't gone up to Sault Ste. Marie?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Well, we're gonna. You know what? We need to do some road tripping.
We need a summer of tripping, but we have to take the dogs.
We do have to take the dogs.
We can't leave those guys here.
Well, our house is haunted. Maybe we can talk our ghosts into dog sitting for us.
They're like, hell no.
Take these beasts
Take
with
your
you.
bumpus hounds. We don't want them.
Right.
Rebecca is from up north.
Really?
Near the, I want to say near Calumet area. I'm sure she'll correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, her dad was a police officer up there. It's where she grew up.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So another tie-in then.
Another tie-in. Well, it's another great story, love.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
Don't you thank me again. Well, you want to sign us out, hon?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
There might be a ghost under there.
Yeah.
Screaming and bonking around books.
Or helping you with things that you might have forgot.
Oh, like my lost sock. Well, thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. And guess what? We will see you again on Malice Monday.
See you on Monday.